The next time you're in an Asian grocery store, don't grab random things. Let me show you what to get instead.
I'm gonna keep this really simple today, guys. I'm gonna walk you through the store aisle by aisle, and I'll show you exactly what to get, so you don't have to constantly run back here. I'm at T&T. This is a local Asian supermarket in my neighborhood. I don't go here too often because I do a lot of my grocery shopping online, but once in a while, when I get the opportunity, I like to grab all my Asian staples so I can cook any Vietnamese meal I want. And I'm gonna show you exactly what those are. Let's go. So let's start with the produce aisle because this is the heart and soul of Vietnamese cooking. In my pantry, I always make sure to have shallots, garlic, green onion, and cilantro. These are the foundational building blocks that I'm never without, and they form the base of a lot of Vietnamese cooking. These types of shallots are actually really hard to find in the Western store, and I love shallots because it adds a depth of flavor. It's different than onions. It's sweeter and more aromatic, so make sure you grab these when you go to the store. When it comes to fresh herbs, I actually don't pick these up unless I'm working on something very specific that week. So these are things like mint, Thai basil, and sawtooth herb. And the reason I don't always keep these on hand is because they wilt very easily and they're really expensive. So you want to eat them as fresh as possible. And some of these are even more specific. So not all stores will have this, but this is rice paddy herb, this is perilla, and then this is Vietnamese coriander. I love all of these, but they have very specific uses, so you don't need to get them all the time. Vietnamese cooking is built on freshness, so a lot of these specialty herbs can really carry the dish. But once in a while, in a pinch, I found that green onions and cilantro can really help do the heavy lifting. So if you can't locate these, don't sweat it. It's a nice added bonus, but you'll get by with just green onion and cilantro.
So another thing that's always present in a Vietnamese kitchen is bird's eye chilies.
It's really, really spicy, so depending on your heat tolerance, you may or may not want to eat this. But a really good substitute is Fresno chili. I think adding chilies just add a pop of color in your dishes, and I think it's always good to have on hand. Another thing that you might need in a lot of Vietnamese recipes is bean sprouts. Bean sprouts, I think you can get at a lot of Western stores, but sometimes when they're pre-packaged, they tend to get really gross and limp. So if you can, come to an Asian store so you can get it fresh. So this is lemongrass. This is something that we work with really often as well. But to be honest, I don't really like handling this thing. It's really hard to cut. So I'm actually gonna show you something in the frozen section to save you a lot of time. So next, we're in the meat section. A lot of these proteins you're gonna be able to find in any ordinary store, but I wanna show you very specific cuts that you can only get in an Asian store because Asian people eat some weird stuff. Let me show you. So we use this a lot. This is a whole free-range chicken. It's different than other chickens because the texture is a little bit different, and I haven't been able to find this in regular grocery stores. So this is something that's good to get if you're in an Asian store. So when it comes to whole free-range chicken, this is also a really good variety. It's called the Long Kong chicken, and per its name, it's long. Really, really good texture, amazing skin, and it'll give you that really nice bite that a lot of the Vietnamese chicken dishes call for. So the nice thing about Asian grocery stores is that you can get a lot of bones, which is great for making stock. It's the base of a lot of the Vietnamese noodle soups I make. This is pork neck bone. It's one of my favorite cuts to make soups with. So sweet. And if you want to make any basic stock, you can use pork bones as well. Pork belly you can find in a lot of stores like Costco, but skin on pork belly is really special because they don't sell that a lot, and the skin really adds to the texture. You can make dishes like thịt kho tàu or the crispy pork belly recipe that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago. It's really good to get here. So the really nice thing about this store, T&T, is that they have a lot of this pre-packaged and pre-rolled meats. They look like really high quality, and a lot of people use these for hot pots, but I think it's a really good hack to make stir fries or even like noodle bowls too. Sometimes I use these sliced pork shoulder to make things like bún thịt nướng. So even something like this would be perfect, like if you're making pho and you want pho thigh. So this is a really good option if you don't want to slice the beef yourself, which could get hard at times. These are frozen beef balls. We use this not only in pho, but in other noodle soups as well. One day I'll show you guys how to make this from scratch, but for now, you can buy them at an Asian grocery store. So this is the seafood section, and it's one of the most impressive areas in T&T. Unfortunately, in this economy, I'm not buying too much lobster or crab, but I do like the live fresh fish. So once in a while, I like to buy these green bass or even like a whole tilapia, and I like to steam it with green onions and ginger in a soy sauce, and it's so, so delicious. And we haven't even begun to talk about some of these shellfish dishes in Vietnamese cuisine. So things like clams, mussels, and snails, they reign supreme in Vietnamese street food. We're gonna explore that one day, so you can go to an Asian grocery store to get things like that, fresh and live. So shrimp is something that we use a lot, and there's two types that I commonly grab. I either get the peeled and devein if I'm just cooking something quickly, but if we're making a stock or using it in a soup, I actually prefer to get it shell on and head on because this adds a lot of flavor. Even if you're gonna peel it off after, I actually like to use the shell and the head to infuse in the broth because it gives it so much depth of flavor and so much body. I find that a lot of Western stores don't like to carry this, so this is actually something that you should grab if you're in an Asian store. Don't sleep on the frozen seafood section, guys. There's so much goodies here that you can make. Everything from frozen fish balls to sliced squid. These can be used in anything from stir fries to noodle soups, so good to have. Okay, so here we are in the dry goods section. This aisle looks really overwhelming with so many choices, but it's actually really simple when it comes to Vietnamese cooking. So all you need to remember is that we use these thin, round vermicelli noodles for anything called bún, and we use the flat rice noodles for pho. I always have these two stocked in my pantry, ready to go at any time. There's more specific noodles when you get into the nitty-gritty of it, but more often than not, it's gonna be either of these noodles. So of course, we're gonna talk about rice paper, right? If you're making fresh rolls or even spring rolls, this is what you're gonna be looking for. It's called bánh tráng. Be careful not to pick these up because this is completely different. Although it's the same shape and it looks healthy because it has like seeds in it, it's actually a rice cracker. It's meant to be puffed up and consumed like an appetizer, so don't mistake this for the rice paper that you're looking for. And of course, as much as I try to avoid this in my life, we gotta have rice. Vietnamese food, like a lot of Southeast Asian food, we're gonna be using jasmine rice. It's a long grain rice that's a little bit sticky and it's a little bit different from the parboiled long grain rice that you find in Western stores. This is the brand that I grew up with. It's this Ox Head brand. Not sure if that's as popular in other parts of North America, but I've grown to really like that. Something that's been catching my eye lately too is this ST25 variety of jasmine rice. Apparently it's a new species of rice that's really, really yummy. It's like 9 millimeters instead of 8 millimeters or something like that, but I guess a little bit of length helps. This is a big deal right now in Vietnam, guys. Like this rice is apparently winning awards. If you get a chance, give it a try. It's a little bit more expensive, but I tried it recently and I can attest that it's good, it's better. Same but different is something that's called glutinous rice. Glutinous rice is also called sweet rice, and we use this in things like sticky rice and sometimes like in our desserts as well. I also use a little bit of this when I'm making my Hoisin chicken rice, if you've seen that recipe, but also really good to have on hand because there's a lot of different uses for it. And look, they sell broken rice too. If you look at it, it's really just a jasmine rice that's been broken up into smaller pieces. But I've shown you guys in that other video, just break it with your hands. You don't need to be paying for an extra bag of rice. Rice can go bad quickly, so you don't want all these different varieties sitting in your pantry, okay? Just start with the basic jasmine rice and I'll show you all the hacks around it. So when you're in this flour section, there's a few things I want you to pick up. Something that I use a lot in cooking is cornstarch. Cornstarch helps us make these like cornstarch slurries to make sauces, but it's also really good in stir fries because it helps us control the liquid content in a stir fry. So grab that. You'll also notice some of these premixes. So things like bột bánh bao, bột bánh xèo, they're really gonna help you make some of these dishes in a pinch. So you don't have to mix all these flours yourself, which could be really difficult. And just across the aisle is my beloved section. If you've watched me for a while now, you know that I'm a fan of these chicken bouillon, not sponsored. There isn't really a brand that I'm loyal to. I kind of switch between these depending on what's on sale. But another item that I like to use sometimes, which can be vegetarian or vegan friendly, is mushroom seasoning, and it does the same thing. It provides umami to your dish. If you're down, you're down. This is the very famous brand for MSG. I have a bag of this in my kitchen and I swear I've had it for like 10 years and I haven't finished it yet. Nothing against MSG. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't find myself using it very often if I'm already using the chicken powder. It's to add umami to your dishes, but if you're already using this, I think you can skip this. So when it comes to sugar, I generally just use granulated sugar for most things, but rock sugar is really important because we use this for a lot of noodle soups. It adds a gentler sweetness. In Vietnamese, we call it ngọt thanh. One box will last you like a year or two, so just grab that if you can. Palm sugar is also really good if you're making like sauces or desserts because it has like more body. It has like a richer flavor profile.
So in this section is where we're gonna find all our dry spices. So you have everything from cloves, coriander seeds, cardamom, star anise. These are all things that we need to season pho. But if you don't want to buy these individually, you can also buy them pre-packaged, just like this one. Alternatively, sometimes I also use this one as well when I want a quick fix. So I really love this section. This is the pre-mixed spices section. And a lot of it is specific to Vietnamese cooking. So you're gonna see we have things like seasoning for bún bò Huế, seasoning for bò kho. And they also have these spice cubes like this that are used for certain soups. So they have cubes for bún bò Huế, they have it for hủ tiếu, phở gà. It's really good.
So here's the sauce section, and this is arguably the most important section in this entire grocery store. And it looks super crazy and it looks really overwhelming, but when it comes to Vietnamese food, very little of it applies to us. Only a few things matter, so let me show you. So when it comes to fish sauce, these two brands are what's popular in North America. There's also another really popular brand called Red Boat that's more of a premium variety, but for everyday cooking, I think these two would work really well. This squid brand, I think you can find in a lot of Western stores now. This is a Thai fish sauce, so it's a little bit saltier. I often use it for things like stir fries or marinades. But if I'm making nước mắm chấm or like a dipping sauce, I like to use Việt Hương, which is the 3 crab sauce. A lot of fish sauce purists will say that this is still not legit because if you look at the ingredients list, there's anchovies, salt, water, sugar, hydrolyzed wheat protein. There's a lot of added ingredients. The very good premium fish sauce like Red Boat will only have anchovies and salt as the ingredients. So that's when you know it's a first press fish sauce. So oyster sauce, although it's a Chinese sauce, we use it a lot in our cooking too, especially in stir fries and marinades. So when you go to the store, there's 2 types that will stand out. These are really popular. You have this more premium version with this beautiful picture of this mother and son rowing a oyster boat. And then you have this panda version, which I don't know, it's like stereotypical Chinese logo. It's actually on sale right now, but typically there's like a $3 or $4 difference. And the main difference is that there's more oyster extracts used in the more premium one versus this one. This one probably has more sugars and salt and whatnot, but in a pinch, this one will work as well for everyday cooking. Vietnamese people aren't as particular about soy sauce as the Chinese or the Japanese, but we do have different use cases for light soy sauce and dark soy sauce. So you're gonna want a bottle of regular light soy sauce, and light soy sauce is just a name used to contrast with dark soy sauce. It doesn't mean that it's low sodium. It doesn't mean that it's light in color. It's just not dark soy sauce. So it doesn't really matter what brand you use. I tend to use like Lee Kum Kee, but when it comes to dark soy sauce, I like to use this brand. And I don't know if it's just Southeast Asian people or just Vietnamese people, but we really like Maggi sauce. Did you know that Maggi sauce is actually a European sauce? I had a French roommate in university and I caught her eating white rice with butter and Maggi sauce and my mind was blown. I was like, how did you know how to do that? And she was like, what do you mean? It's a French thing. Anyways, I don't know if this came over through French colonization or what, but we really like to use it. Although it has some soy components, it also has added sugars and glutamates, which means MSG. So I don't like to use it in cooking too much. I like to use it as more of a side sauce. So when it comes to hot sauces, there's one brand that is ubiquitous in North America, and that's the Rooster brand or the Huy Fong brand. We use this one for dipping and for pho. It's really popular, but actually it's not popular in Vietnam at all. I actually don't even know if they have this in Vietnam. In Vietnam, they actually use this one called Chin Su. It's a really different taste. I find it's a little bit sweeter, but it has some interesting uses as well. I don't use it as often though. And if you guys didn't know already, Huy Fong, the same company that makes sriracha, they also make something called sambal. And this one is really good to put in fish sauces and dipping sauces because it's a different taste. I find it tastes less processed than this one. In Vietnamese, we call this ớt xay. And what it is fermented ground chili that you can use in a lot of different types of sauces, including nước mắm chấm or even like the peanut sauce that we make for gỏi cuốn. And of course, you gotta have your hoisin sauce. Although this is a Chinese sauce, we use it a lot to dip pho and also to make gỏi cuốn. They even use our food on their label. But don't be squirting this into the bowl of pho, okay? I'm watching you. And also imperative in a lot of Vietnamese recipes is fermented shrimp paste. We use this a lot in some noodle soups, so it's good to have on hand. This one is just a very generic shrimp one, but they have more specific ones too. For example, this is a Huế specific shrimp paste, and we use this for things like bún bò Huế. And in the same aisle, you can also find the crab paste that we use in bún riêu. In Vietnam, satay is like a thing. It's like so popular. You can always find really good satay made with chilies, lemongrass, shallots, and garlic, and it's so fragrant and so delicious. In a lot of Asian stores, we don't have many options, so we default to this brand. I think everyone knows this brand. It's the Lan Gao Ma. grandma brand. It's okay, it'll do the job, but it's really, really different than the Vietnamese satay. Vietnamese chili crisp will always have the addition of lemongrass, which gives it a really distinct flavor. And I really want to show you guys that. I'm going to make that really soon. So remember when I told you I didn't want to deal with lemongrass? You can buy frozen lemongrass and it works just as well. So they sell chopped lemongrass in this small jar, and you can put this directly into marinades, which I find so convenient because I don't want to chop lemongrass. It's really annoying. You can also buy the lemongrass stalks frozen, and I actually buy this and I keep it in my freezer because in a pinch I like to throw this in bún bò Huế or cà ri gà, and it works just as well. So that's it, guys. Nothing to it. Trust me, just make a trip out of it. Grab these things once. You don't have to keep going back to the Asian store, and you can grab the rest of the stuff at your regular grocery store. That's all you're really gonna need to get started. But if you're not sure what to cook yet, I put together my top 10 Vietnamese recipes you can easily cook at home. I'll link it below. Well, I hope you guys had as much fun as I did, and I'll see you back in the kitchen. Bye.